I'm Mike Baxter with the New York Mets, and you're watching RotoExperts Fantasy Baseball Today.
Well. It appears Clayton Kershaw is human after all. How many of you thought the Padres would beat Kershaw last night, chasing him in the fifth? The guy I squared off against in daily fantasy paid over $13,000 for him to contribute just over 9 points. Ouch. Kershaw had a hard time keeping the ball in the park, allowing 5 runs, 3 earned on 7 hits, including 3 home runs. But don't go jumping off the Kershaw bandwagon just yet. Don't forget, the guys on the other team are playing for a living too. While he's just 2-2 on the season, Kershaw has 30 strikeouts with only 8 walks in less than 29 innings. And with an ERA of 1.88 and a whip of just .94, he remains one of the best pitchers in the game. And kudos to our own Pat Mayo for pointing out that national starter Ross Detwiler would be the play of the night in daily fantasy yesterday at less than $5,000. Allowing just 1 run in 7 innings, striking out 5 and walking no one, it was his 3rd straight start allowing 1 run or fewer to begin the year. Detwiler is now the proud owner of a .9 ERA and a whip of just 1 with an 11-3 strikeout to walk ratio. If he's not the best 5th starter in baseball, I don't know who is. And sticking with pitching, after last night's Yankee game where CC Sabathia got the win without throwing a pitch over 90, he admitted he can no longer throw with the velocity he used to. At this point in his career, I look at CC very much like I do Andy Pettitte. He can still manage a game and put a team in position to win, so in baseball terms, he's still extremely valuable, particularly in a big game. But in fantasy baseball, where pure stats are what matters most, it's time to drop CC down a notch, as there will be more days than there used to where he appears to be less than elite. And what's wrong with Buster Posey? The NL MVP is mired in a 2-for-18 slump and looked lost last night, taking fastballs down the middle and getting beat on pitches he usually crushes. Something isn't right there. Manager Bruce Bochy knows it too, because he's being held out for the 2nd time in 4 games today, so make sure you're not playing him in daily fantasy. By the way, Bochy holds the distinction of having the biggest hat size in baseball, which is probably why he's so smart and does so well. His brain is just bigger. Hey, here's one that'll make you chuckle. Jose Altuve finally recorded his first steal on the year. And after the game, I actually heard one analyst say that he wasn't stealing bases as much this year because his stride was too short. Really? Did he shrink from last year when he swiped 33? Look, it's a thin position. Altuve should be starting in all formats. And I wanted to take this opportunity to remind everyone about the value of someone like Nick Swisher. The switch hitter went 2 for 4 with a single and a home run last night, which caught my attention because he's the type of player who often flies under the radar. While he's not an elite player, he seems to always compile decent stats. I mention this because he only starts in about 3/4 of leagues, and given that he's hitting cleanup on a major league lineup, he's going to get plenty of chances to drive in runs. Swisher qualifies at both outfield and first, which only enhances his roster status. And don't forget about him in daily leagues where you can often get him on the cheap. He's half the price of some of the elite sluggers on many nights, offering very similar production. Phillies outfielder Dominic Brown had to leave last night's game after diving for a ball in the outfield and hurting his back. It seemed more precautionary than anything else, but he's having an MRI today, so monitor that if you're one of those banking on a breakout year from Mr. Brown. Ryan Zimmerman had to leave last night's game with a tight hamstring. He's expected to be available for Friday's series opener against the Mets. And Chase Headley made his 2013 debut in the Padres lineup after missing close to a month with a broken thumb, going 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. If you're one of those who thinks Headley can repeat last year's breakout campaign, get him in. Ryan from Oswego, New York asks, Mike Leake threw 7 scoreless innings last night while striking out 7 with no walks. No one has him in my league. Should I pick him up? Well, Ryan, there's a reason nobody has him, and it's not because he's a shoplifter. I guess you didn't see his first 2 starts. Look, even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while, and based on the fact that you're interested in him, I guess I'd have to see who you're looking to replace, but on the margins, he's not someone you should be looking at. It's still early, so don't panic if you're not doing well. If you came into the season with a strategy and your players are healthy, stick to your plan. I see way too many people wanting to sell high on everyone who got off to a hot start and buy low on everyone who's been stinking up the joint. Unless you have big holes to fill because of injuries, let your players work for you a bit. Don't overmanage. If you're looking to make big changes already, you either did a poor job of drafting or don't know what you're doing. Hey, Picasso didn't keep ripping things up and starting over when he didn't like the way his paintings were coming out. Okay, he did, but just go with me here. I'm trying to make a point. Let some paint dry on the canvas before making major changes. If you're one of those who like to actively manage your roster, try streaming a pitcher spot. It will cure your craving to overmanage. Sometimes in life, less is more. That's particularly true in a long season of fantasy baseball. For RotoExperts, I'm Mike Cardano.